Along, Grace. It's good to have you back. I'll just turn that off. Welcome along.
Hi there. Am I back?
Yep.
Oh, well, gosh. After that beautiful daily word reading from Leslie and that gorgeous song, I think we can all just go home now and have a good time. It's lovely to see everyone, and I hope you're all going to be patient and kind and follow my thinking, strange thinking, as it goes through what I want to share with you today. I'm actually going to share the today's daily word, because there's so much in it that contains the basic teachings and the necessary teachings within the unity movement, that I really thought, oh gosh, I really want to talk in more depth about that and have maybe people thinking about it in a different way for themselves. Does that make sense? You can nod, thank you. You're not allowed to talk, apparently. Anyway, it's a really interesting daily word, and I'm going to start reading but I want to read the Bible verse first. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion." Now that's in Genesis 1, verse 26. Now, first of all, I want to say that please, please, please understand it forevermore, that the Bible was put together by a whole bunch of different people from different languages at different times. And the whole Roman Catholic thing wasn't made till 375 AD. And all sorts of things that are in the Bible have been translated, retranslated, mistranslated, changed, whatever, according to the people who are doing the translations. And so our Bible is not just easy for us to read in our language right now and say that's the way it really is, because it's confusing, isn't it? I think everybody who's read the Bible knows that there's various bits of it that are very confusing. And we really have to get it, that there is a meaning in most of the words. Sometimes there isn't. I can't find it. I mean, maybe there is, but I can't find a meaning in some of the words that I come across. But the thing is that it's been changed. So don't think that this is actually the direct word of Jesus to you or something like that, because it's a mixture of different people, which is the same as what the unity movement is, or any movement is. It's a different bunch of people expressing their ideas and opinions. And I'm sure Sylvia's been around quite long enough to know that there's a heap of different things about the teachings of religious science and unity and all that stuff that are all different wordings, and they have often very much a similar meaning. And so anyway, the Bible verse there is, let's make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion. What does dominion mean? That's the thing. Dominion means, rulership, doesn't it? Dominion means we have the power to change something. Now, in the title, it says, claiming dominion, I am calm and confident. Now, at this particular moment in time, you might be, but I'll guarantee you most of the time, we are not totally confident. Confident means with faith, knowing that we are in dominion. And I don't always know that I'm in dominion. If there's anyone who always knows they're in dominion, please raise your hand, because I don't believe that we always know that. Our life is a series of investigating what's going on in our lives. So calm and confident. I'd love to be calm and confident all the time, wouldn't you? But there are times where I feel very unconfident. Like before I started this morning, I was feeling pretty nervous about the whole deal. And I've been talking to, stuff for years and years, and people keep telling me, oh, it's lovely the way you just do it as you're thinking and da 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 da. But I get into being unconfident very quickly, and I have to pull myself back into saying, okay, it's not going to be different from what I am meant to be saying. And I have to sort of talk to myself about things and prepare myself for things. And I'm not always calm either. How many of you have seen me lose my feelings and have a hissy fit, you know? I do. Have an absolute hissy fit. I heard myself the other day and I went, holy cow, Grace, what on earth are you doing? Who do you think you are? I was going, nah, 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 nah. And I don't like it when other people do it. And I certainly don't like it when I do it. But it happens. So I'm not always calm and confident. But in the first paragraph, it says, I'm a powerful spiritual being endowed with dominion, the authority to take command of my thoughts, words, and actions. Now, the taking command of the thoughts is the first thing and the most important thing that we can do. And even as I work, and it goes on and says, even as I work to change my circumstances, I remember I am not constrained by what is happening around me. Well, you know, we'll talk about that a little bit more too, because I think many of us have been in situations where we felt that we have been constrained by what was going on with other people around us and what was going on with the situation. And we felt we couldn't actually speak our truth. Because speaking our truth is what we're supposed to be doing. However, sometimes we are feeling scared of the people around us and the situation, and we're not going to speak our truth. I am not constrained, and then it says, I am not constrained by what is happening around me. And I find that that's pretty difficult to cope with all the time. Now, can I get myself to think about myself that way and work with it? That's what we're going to talk about. How do we do it on the hoof as we are going around and we are doing our best to stay calm and confident in all situations and claiming our dominion? I live with poise and confidence. I love that. Confidence every moment of the time. Now, I often have confidence. I have confidence that I can, you know, get out of bed and have a shower and, you know, things like that. But I'm not always confident that I'm going to do it in the right order or something like that. I have to pull myself back and say, I'm doing this in this moment. See, one of the hardest things is to live in the actual moment. We keep on living behind, before and ahead and thinking, oh, what's going to turn out? What will other people think? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Instead of just being in the moment. A lot of our living in, I choose my response in all situations. Now, that's something that we'll talk about. I live with poise and confidence. Now, so much of this depends on our training, our childhood experience, and everything that's happened to us since, not only just to childhood, but the experiences we've had through life. But, you know, some of you know that I've spent years teaching people how to look into their childhood experiences and find the truth about themselves and learn to look at themselves differently. Because when I was 13 or 14, I had been to one school where I had felt very left out and not part of anything. And then I went to another school, and to my amazement, I fitted in because people were accepting different viewpoints about things. And it was a different situation. So I had a complete switch between feeling totally wrong and left out at home and at school to being in a school where I was feeling that I was part of it. And I ended up being part of the senior teams and stuff like that. And it was depending on different circumstances, but I had to make the change and keep working with the changes I was attempting to make while I was in the first school. I don't know whether that makes sense, but I did do a lot of work with getting to see myself. I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was really trying to see myself as not as bad as they made out I was. So it's a lot to do with childhood issues, family of origin issues, of course, the way we were treated as babies, the way we were treated as toddlers, the way we was treated while we were growing up at home, and the different things that we all had. Everybody here, I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people on my screen at the moment, but I know you all had totally different family backgrounds. I know you had different relationships with your mother and your father and your aunts and your cousins and your sisters and brothers and so forth. I know everyone had a different background. However, we have all had to learn to take dominion of our thoughts and feelings about those memories. And to do that, we have to be willing to look at them. Anyway, I think we're end of that rant. Then the next thing goes on is I claim dominion over my thoughts and feelings. Now, the thing is, I've called this title, what did I call it? Commander-in-Chief. Now, in the army, the commander-in-chief is only commander-in-chief of a certain group of people. He's not the total general top of everything in the whole world, you know, what have you. Like, we're all commanders-in-chief of our own world, our own experience of this life. We are commander-in-chief of our experience of living on this planet at this time. And it's important that we realize that we're not the commander of anybody else's behavior. But we are very much the commander of our own thoughts and feelings. And so when we claim dominion over our thoughts and feelings, we then can recognize our limiting beliefs. And this is where we get into recognizing the limiting beliefs. And these limiting beliefs have usually come from our childhood training and our background. And we build up different limiting beliefs as we go along, don't we? Somebody gives us, I mean, like at the moment, we've got so many limiting rules going on in Australia, it makes my head spin. I don't know what they are. We're in lockdown here in this aged care facility. It's unreal. And it's rules all over the place. And we're meant to be having limiting beliefs about various things. Well, we don't have to keep limiting beliefs, even if we're being polite and not arguing with people. And even if we're just going along with what is said, we can have our own beliefs going on in our minds, even if we're going along with the limitations. Right? Is that correct? Wave your hand if it's correct. Yeah, thank you. Good. We have our dominion over our thoughts and feelings and nobody else's. When I recognize limiting thoughts, I train myself to affirm my spiritual power and freedom. So I have to reaffirm my spiritual power and freedom whenever I find myself caught in limiting thoughts. And then it gets into I choose my response in all situations, and getting it that we really do choose it is so important. Divine wisdom guides me. Now that's nice. I feel the strength of the indwelling Christ present moment by moment. Now that's the trickier part, I think, for us to do that, to actually feel that Christ present. How do we go about doing it? That's the question. Feeling that presence of that divinity within us and that power, we have to have our own way of doing it. Now, mine is when I notice myself out of it, is to stop for a few minutes and do some breathing, gentle breathing without doing fancy stuff with it, just breathing gently and saying with every breath, I'm breathing in the life of God. And then I spend time imagining the creative power of the universe, which is how I see, one of the ways in which I see and describe God. The creative powers of energy of the universes is in every part of it. Every single part of the universes has that creative energy in it. And we read so many times in so many different places about this energy being everywhere, equally and evenly present. And then I pull it back into myself and say that presence and that power and that energy is in every cell in my body. And I start thinking about different parts of my body. Maybe I'll think of a hand and arm, and I'll think every cell in the hand and arm has the creative energy in it. And then sometimes I'll think about a lovely thing that I saw once, which was a whole picture of the world and the universes and what have you, this great picture spread out. And somebody had put a sort of a crack through different parts of it, all little different parts of it. It was in small little pieces, and every part of it had that creative energy in it. And I'm all part of the big picture. My cells in my body, each one is part of the whole body. And all my cells and all about me is part of a big picture. And when I get into this whole big picture thing and thinking about it and feeling that power, and I put my hands over my heart area, you know, and go, oh, it's within me. And the various ways I think of it, and you can all think up different ways of doing it yourselves, I'm sure you do. And we do that, and we can be in touch with that power of the creative energy, the Christ principle, the creative energy of the universes. Get in touch with that within ourselves. And it sometimes we only have a moment or two to do it, and we just have to be practiced at doing it. So daily practice of finding that presence and that power is absolutely essential. And we're very lucky in Unity because we teach that, you know, this is a daily practice, and we have the daily word and all that sort of stuff. And we talk to each other a lot, and we share the ideas. And so we have a good time with remembering these things, but remembering them when we're on the hoof, as they say, that as we're going through things and things are going on around us is the really important thing. Feeling the strength of the indwelling Christ present moment by moment, thought by thought, as I use my dominion to establish a positive, fulfilling direction for my life. Now, how often do we have to do that? Certainly every day, right? Every hour, probably. Through every experience, through everything we're doing. Sometimes you have to do it while we're walking around every minute. Have you ever been walking into a situation where there's a big argument going on, or a big to-do and what have you, and you don't want to get caught up in it, and you don't want to get attacked, and you have to walk through because you're going somewhere, and you have to go through. And in those sort of situations, while all this drama is going on and you want to walk through it, it's absolutely essential to keep ourselves centered on that God presence within us and claim and have dominion over our thoughts to claim peace. And we might be able to do it for a little bit, but at least we're doing something about it. So we have the opportunity many, many times a day when we're driving. When you're driving on the freeway or anywhere, everyone's looking out for what's happening. Everybody's on the lookout for other cars and so forth. And in that situation, when we're driving, we can claim power and control and dominion of our thoughts and feelings. They're directed towards our safety. All we're thinking about is our safety instead of thinking about possible accidents. So if I direct my thoughts to safety and comfort and pleasure and peace, it's a very different thing from looking anxiously around to see whatever else horrible is happening next and what is going to get me. So I invite us all to really, really, really take a daily and always look at how we're actually feeling and to claim, recognizing the thoughts that are disturbing, and then training ourselves to affirm that we have within us the spiritual power. We know that divine wisdom guides us. And we're finding that we're looking for different ways and different bits of wisdom to increase our awareness of this presence and this power within us. It's our dominion over our thoughts, no matter what. And feeling the strength of the indwelling Christ presence as we claim the dominion is really important. Using this moment by moment, thought by thought. As I use my dominion to establish positive and fulfilling direction for me in my life, the direction and the positivity and what have you is within me. And I have to claim dominion over that and take the responsibility for being the commander-in-chief. I have to take the responsibility for being in charge of my thoughts and feelings. I have to be fully aware that I am the commander-in-chief of my thoughts and feelings and the awareness of the Christ presence. So let's do that now. If you will, just take a few moments to perhaps close your eyes and take a deep breath and allow yourself to relax a little bit more in your chair. Perhaps wiggle your shoulders a little bit and let them go. And focus your attention on your breathing, if you will. The breathing in and the breathing out. And with every breath, I am breathing God's life. I'm breathing in creative energy. I'm breathing in God's breath. I am breathing in the life of fulfilling the commandment. My peace I leave with you, we've been told. It is our job to allow ourselves to feel the presence and the power within that peace. There is such strength. Andrew is the presence of strength within us, the disciple that represents strength. We have within us all of the strength we need. I know some of us are facing interesting challenges in our lives. And we have the strength to handle them. We have the strength, and I complain. I believe that I have the power to command my mind to accept the strength. I no longer fear for my God is very near. And I love the power that each one of us has. All my brothers and sisters have the same power. To instruct their thoughts and then their feelings and then their lives. To be peaceful, harmonious, practically useful, and giving more and more security on the planet. For as I have dominion over my own security, so I share it with all my brothers and sisters, daily and always. I establish a positive, fulfilling direction for and in my life, and share this blessing with all my brothers and sisters on the planet. And that I have this dominion, I have this power, I have the presence of God within me. And for this I give thanks. And to this great truth, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Grace. That was just amazing. And before we thank you even more, let's just stay in this space while we sing Open My Eyes.